touching on the top prop bets in the NBA today. All right, so just looking at the prop board today, it is going to be one in which we are going to get 4 more tacos on the day. We already got 1 today, so that's going to mean we're going to have a lot of time really devoted to the PrizePicks board today, and that's probably why they are doing it. So the first taco that we have, this video should be out by the time or before the time that this is locked. Okay, I kind of just think we take this, just needs 1 base, right? So we're going to go through and try to find which other tacos we can pair or which other props we can pair with this taco, as well as the other ones that come out throughout the day. So we're going to go ahead and start out with the college basketball props. And just as an FYI, some people were wondering that our 9to5 site members, where to find this kind of new update for college basketball props and NHL props. It's going to be on this little tab right here inside of the NBA PrizePicks prop cheat sheet. I didn't really know where to put it. And for those of you guys that didn't see yesterday's video, I spent the whole weekend kind of updating this to include college basketball and NHL props. So looking at right now, we're going to start with the college basketball props. So last night's taco that we got at midnight, which got lucky to even see that one. I was working on another tool and it pretty much took me up until midnight to finish it. So I got lucky there. That one hit. And what I had done is I had went ahead and paired that taco with some of these other college basketball props that we were getting on the day. They were Connor over 12.5 points, definitely not a lock, and it has went down a little bit since then to -137. Adam Conkle over 2.5 assists. This one has also went down to -136. And then Steven Crowell as well. His points have actually, or his rebounds were at -140 to start the day. Now they're at 5.5. So yes, we are still getting favorable odds on those, but it's kind of the issue, and also I guess the strength of tacos is that when the taco drops, we only have a limited amount of time. We really have to take the best props that we have available at the time and hope that those odds that we are betting on pan out, and hope that they continue to be true. So really, we can see the best one that we are going to get is going to be Jordan Walker over 3.5 threes made, which to me, I mean, that's a lot, right? We can see, yeah, he's been over it on average 3 out of the past 5 games. So it's really for you guys to decide what you want to do with this one. Once again, I always just like to point out the best prop odds that we are getting. The more times we do this, especially with these tacos that should in theory be free squares, we're giving ourselves over a 50% chance then to hit that taco. And if we do that in the long term, especially today, it should be rewarding. But that's really, these 2 right here are the best ones we're getting. Remember, kind of the magic number is -137. I like to look at -138. So really, we only have 1 prop there, college basketball wise. Now we can go down and kind of see where we have some prop lines that aren't matching up college basketball wise. We can see we're getting a bunch of half points here, but it's very tight, where the over and under are basically the same. So you could go with these 2 as well. Keontae Johnson over 16.5 points is basically a push. PrizePicks has it at 16. Okay, so, those are also okay ones. So let's go ahead and get into the NHL props. We have a little bit better NHL props than we do college basketball props. All right, so this one, I mean, these 2 really do seem like starting points. And on top of that, we are getting 3 bets that are going to be over -137. So I feel comfortable attacking those ones. We can see Brady over 3.5 shots on goal, favored at -140 across the sportsbooks on average. The update that I pushed for those of you guys that didn't see yesterday's video, it's coming in from like 8 different sportsbooks now, and it updates like every hour. But this is one in which I feel like we feel pretty comfortable with, right? We can see 4 out of the past 5 games been heavily over this, and also we're getting -140 odds. Like, that's a pretty good one that we can make there. I hope it's still available once this video is finished, but this is one in which I would definitely put with that taco. And then another one that we have is Brent Burns over 2.5 shots on goal. The worry that I have is that he really hasn't had that many shots on goal a lot recently, but we can see, -138. It's just tough to pass up on those odds. And yes, these are odds that can update throughout the day, obviously, but we can see a bunch of these games he's been at 2 shots on goal, just needs to get 1 more shot on goal. And so I guess we can see why they're favoring the over here, but definitely not lock and load. Then we have another one, block shots. Yes, I added in block shots into this. Okay, so we can see -137.5 to get over 1.5 block shots. Now, guys, I have not bet on block shots yet. So this would primarily just be an odds bet thing that we'd be doing here if we bet on this. But there we can see we are getting 3 favorable over bets for NHL. Really not getting any other good lines out there. We can see why PrizePicks has a line set at a push for these ones, whereas, the average odds on sportsbooks are favoring it over a half, and we're not getting any under bets that are mispriced. So let's go ahead and get into NBA. So I'm going to start out with just the best odd bets that we have, and then I'm going to go ahead and get into like the traditional breakdown that I would do. So looking at right now, we got Jaden Ivey at -137 for over 1.5 threes. And actually, this is one that doesn't seem terrible on paper. Now, we will see that he is projected to get under it slightly, okay? But this is really just coming down to his averages. And really, we got to see what his minutes are going to be like, because Detroit is continuing to be banged up. They're projected to be without Alec Burks, possibly RJ Hampton, Livers, Bogdanovich, Diallo, Jalen Duren, and Isaiah Stewart. So if we just take off the main usage players out of that, and we look at Jaden Ivey's per 36 numbers, he does average 6.5 shot attempts from the 3-ball range and about 2.4 makes. So in theory, if this number is correct for him, I could see the over being slightly favored, and that's going to be without Alex Burks, Duren, Stewart, and Bogdanovich is what I'm pulling into that sample. So we are getting over odds there. Projected minutes should be there. And if the per 36 numbers adjust slightly, I would see why I would be favoring the over threes here. So another one that I really don't mind. And then right on the borderline would be Jason Tatum over 4.5 assists. Now that's not exactly one I like. Feels like we'd be fortunate. Let's try to find some other bets. So another under bet, it's okay, but we can see Markelle Fultz projected to get the over. And I actually kind of like Markelle Fultz and the rest of the Orlando Magic players. I'll touch on that at the end of this video because they seem to be too cheap. So if we look at where the odds aren't matching up, this is a decent one here. Prop line difference isn't huge, but Wagner here is a pretty appealing play to me because they're going to be without Jalen Suggs, which might not be huge, but the biggest issue with the Magic really this season had been the fact that they really weren't playing that many minutes. And so if we look at recently for the Magic, they have been 37, 33, 35. So if we can get that production out of the Magic minutes-wise, that's huge, especially in a matchup against Washington, which let's check the over and under for that game. I guess it's not too high, but it is projected to be a close game. So in theory, we shouldn't have to worry about a blowout. That to me is going to be an appealing prop because we do see -124 for the over. And that's with, the sportsbooks kind of disagreeing with what the line should be. I'm sure there's a couple out there that are saying 22 should be the over and under for points and rebounds. I'd be kind of fine with either of them. Like I said, the Magic having in more minutes. And so let's see his projected minutes, 32, right? Projected to get slightly over that at 32 minutes, 33 if we round up. If he gets a few more minutes, like we have seen the Magic get recently, that'd be huge. Obviously, we can't project that, because that's not what's happened over the long term, but a favorable bet. Keegan Murray over fantasy points is also pretty interesting here. So remember the odds that I'm pulling in here for average over odds is going to be based off of what the sportsbooks are saying should be the line for points, rebounds, assists, steals, and blocks, okay? And they're saying -122 to get over collectively 22.32 points. And the thing that this play would be really predicated on is Kevin Huerter sitting. He's currently a game time decision. I believe he was originally ruled out, but that would just open up a little bit more usage for someone like Keegan Murray. I think Keegan Murray is going to be a popular option, though, especially if Kevin Huerter is out. The only worry with him would be this matchup with Boston, but we can see 3 out of his last 4 games he's been over. The last 2 he's really been over. And so it's like, can we continue to ride the hot hand with him? I think we'd be fine with it. They are coming in off of a back end of a back-to-back as well. So, some strange stuff happens. We do have to be on the lookout for potentially someone sitting. And then let's see if we can find the biggest prop line difference here. So SGA, this is kind of a push. Wow, pretty crazy 4 points for SGA. Big edge there, but he's only projected to get 29.7 points. So kind of a push here. And actually, I just looked, PrizePicks has updated this to 31.5, which does seem to be the correct number, although some sportsbooks are still saying it should be 32. So a little bit of a discrepancy there. I'm probably staying away from that one, especially now that PrizePicks updated it. Another one here, Al Horford over fantasy points we could do. Let's see these two for Tatum and SGA, see if those are still available. So let's start with SGA since I haven't pulled up. 35.5 for points and assists. Okay, they bumped that up a half. So not too much. We're still getting an edge there, but not enough to make it a lock and load. And then so for Jason Tatum, we are still getting it at 32.5 points and assists. And so this is a very interesting one. We're getting a pretty good edge there. The over and under is basically a push, but that's at 33.83. So let's just say if it was set at 32, it'd definitely be favoring the over. So not a terrible line there. And we know with Tatum, it's really just he can get there in points alone. So not a terrible one as a whole. And then lastly, we're not really getting that many great under bets. So I do want to talk real quickly about the NBA slate as a whole. We are getting more fantasy props as this video goes on. Once again, I'm going to have to refresh the data here while I'm recording. So you guys won't see this, but I'm going to refresh it real quick to see if we have any edges. All right. So looking at it right now, Nick Claxton, once again, over fantasy points is kind of the move. I would say if Jared Allen is out in that game, then he becomes much more appealing there, because then it's only going against one of the bigs instead of both of the bigs. And to me, that's a little bit more encouraging. Now, can Nick Claxton get there? Sure. Nick Claxton has been getting a decent amount of run, and he's been playing extremely well. I just worry, like, look at this last game against Cleveland. Like, I worry with both the bigs there, he could struggle. So get into the fantasy tab specifically here. Let's see. Biggest edges that we're getting on the slate. Cameron Johnson's popping up there. I don't hate that. Don't love it. We got Wendell Carter. Don't mind Wendell Carter. Like I said, as long as the minutes are continuing to be there for the Magic players, it is a prop that I don't mind. And we look at what his line should be based off of the Vegas odds that we're getting. It suggests that it should be set at 37. So that is a very interesting line that we're getting. We do see Wagner's projected to be over. Banchero slightly over as well. So we have some decent ones there. Gafford could be an interesting one with Kyle Kuzma off the court. And that's kind of one thing I wanted to touch on, is that right now, just looking at the injuries that we have Detroit with a bunch of injuries, okay? And that's why I don't mind that Jaden Ivey threes one. But they did prop up James Wiseman up a decent amount. I would say Marvin Bagley is actually probably a little bit too low for his fantasy score. But then if his fantasy score is too low, that probably means that his points and rebounds is going to be low as well. So let's just take a peek at him. Maybe points and maybe rebounds as well. Probably just points. And the reason why this is because, one, they get a better matchup against Atlanta, but also he should be forced into getting closer to 36 minutes or so, like we saw the last time they were without Duren and Isaiah Stewart. Does Detroit really want to run out Eugene for, additional run? Maybe, it wouldn't be shocking. Random stuff does happen later on in the season. But if Livers is out as well, then I think that just increases the likelihood of Marvin Bagley getting some more run. Like the last time we had this situation, I think his fantasy score was set at like 34 or something insane. So not terrible, but not obviously something that we love. And then the Spurs as well. We are waiting on kind of injury situations and news for the Spurs in terms of the prop board being updated. Right now, we only have Keldon Johnson, which I actually don't mind Keldon Johnson's prop here, but we've got to wait and see. They're going to be without our cash cow, Zach Collins. I'm actually a little bit sad we're not getting him on the slate. They're going to be without Jeremy Sochan, Devin Vassell, possibly Trey Jones. Devonta Graham is questionable as well. So there are a lot of potential minutes open up for the Spurs. And like Charles Bassey is out. I know Sandro was a disappointment in the last game that he got a ton of minutes, but since then he has been really playing well. I would say this matchup against the Pelicans is going to be a little bit more appealing as well. I'm very curious as to see where his props come in, or if we even get those props, because it'd probably be one that I would want to attack. Reason being, his per 36 numbers are kind of off the charts with, let's just use Zach Collins off the court and Sochan off the court. He has 100 minutes, averages 13.7 points and 11.3 rebounds with those two off the court. So we could see probably would be wanting to chase like points and rebounds. Obviously, we're not getting that just yet. That'd be something that we probably get right before lock. So I was going in to do today's bets, and this is just a good example of just be checking the sports books really before you are placing your bets, just to make sure that we are still getting the odds. It looked like Brady was going to be kind of our lock bet of the day with the early opening odds that were available. Okay. No longer true. Okay. Minus 125. Still not terrible. And that could change throughout the day. But just a reminder, like, make your most educated decision you can possible before placing the bet. Just, confirm it before you place the bet. Because right now at minus 125, it doesn't seem like he should be someone that we attach to our betting card or our slip. And so I really do want to get another Magic player in there. I just don't know which one. They kind of all feed into each other. I'm going to go with Franz Wagner there, but I'm kind of just trying to decide which one I want to go with. And might go with Fultz. We could do Wendell Carter as well, though. I will say the James Wiseman fantasy prop here as well does seem to be one that is appealing, as long as he does get that slight increase in minutes. Obviously due to the next two bigs being out, Duren and Stewart being out, it seems like they should be forced into giving Bagley and Wiseman a ton of minutes. And so you look at his per 36 numbers, he averages about 40 fantasy points per 36. And for what it's worth, Bagley averages about 35 fantasy points per 36 with Stewart, Duren, Burks, and Bojan off the court. So I guess I'll go with Wiseman right now. It does feel like we're forcing a little bit, but I can't really control the board. Gotta make the best educated decisions we can possible. And to me, this seems like the correct choice. And then I do want to get like a fantasy prop for Zubac. I think we just do points and rebounds for now. He's just been crushing it lately. The minutes have been there. I think we just roll with that, especially against OKC. I just want to see so it wouldn't be shocking to see Wiseman get 34 minutes. He should be able to get 30 minutes like he has the last two games. Like they traded for him for a reason. Kind of like this. Maybe He's not really getting that many blocks though, so maybe just points and rebounds, but I felt like that number was a little bit too high. Interesting. So if anyone else sees a bet with Wiseman that they like, let us know. All right, so as it sits right now, to me, these are the best props that we're getting on paper. Obviously, the Jaden Ivey prop we are doing because, well, we're just chasing the odds there. That's going to be the same thing with the Brett Burns prop as well. We're just chasing the odds. And same kind of thing for Wagner as well. We saw that points and assists prop actually be the way to go. I kind of just wanted to use points, rebounds, and assists. I like his production lately. If the minutes are there, he should be productive enough. Zubac, this just seems like a too low of a line going against the Thunder. As long as he's still getting around 30 minutes, you should be able to get 10 boards and hopefully 11, 12, obviously 12 points. But no, it seems like a solid line that we're getting. And then Wiseman to me as well. Don't love the matchup, I guess, with Atlanta. But at the same time, as long as he stays out of foul trouble and does get 30 minutes, he should be able to get the over here as well. I will say none of these feel like locks. That does worry me, so I do plan on doing another Taco Tuesday kind of live stream. Hopefully we get better props throughout the day. I think we will. We'll see how stingy PrizePicks is with their board, with the college basketball props. Obviously March Madness is coming, or the Thursday is coming, so hopefully we're getting better props for that as well. Once again, guys, the goal on Taco Tuesday, we are just trying to have at least six total profitable bets. Okay, 6 bets that hit. Now it changes a little bit since we have 5 tacos today. It's a whole different equation then. What would it be? 8, I think we would want to hit total to have profit. I would have to check. But it's a fun day. It's a fun day. We have a bunch of tacos, so hopefully we can take advantage of it, have a profitable slate. Let's have a good slate, and as always, let's keep cashing.